talk about the pathways of Pokemon. Activision situation be trippin', and Lynn Schofield's uh-oh. Extra, hear all about it.
Hey guys, and welcome to the podcast with the hosts that do all the dirty to CBAT. I'm the Dean of Games, the Dean Slater if you are on Twitter or Twitch, and joining me is twitch.tv/LMJ the Hitman Landen.
I'm filthy right now. That's how dirty I am.
Yeah.
That's how much dirty we do. I'm just filthy.
Yeah, CBAT's a good song. CBAT's a good song to do it to.
Yes.
I never asked you if you actually saw that Reddit post, but that's one of the funniest things I've seen come from Reddit in a long time.
I'm in and out of Reddit, but sometimes I catch things like that.
Yeah. I don't understand how that rhythm works for that kind of thing, but that's just me. I'm back from Colorado.
He's back
from Colorado. I can't
enjoy your time. Did you enjoy your time?
I did enjoy my time. Yes. I ended up not being able to do the ghost hunt at the Stanley Hotel because wedding stuff. But
damn wedding. Damn purpose of why we're here.
Yeah. Fuck you. But no, it was good. It was I enjoyed it. I still went to the Stanley. I just went during regular business hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. Did you enjoy your week off from
testing? Yeah, no, it was pretty good. Just been playing more Golden Lamb. I am not diamond yet in Apex, but I'm just a centimeter away. But that's all I've really been doing game wise. Just let's sit back and listen to some of the news. I'm pretty excited about a couple of these stories and a couple of extra things that are just happening as we speak. Ubisoft things going on as we're talking. So yeah. I'm excited to get into that later on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll probably cover that next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been trying to keep up with the news and all my gaming news podcasts that I listen to, but it certainly was difficult. Just because I was busy doing so many other things. I have 40 hours worth of podcasts I listen to for when I'm at work. So when I'm not at work, it's hard to keep up with those 40 hours.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
But yeah, so... Oh, man. This is Extra, your weekly gaming news podcast covering the news leading up to Sunday, September 11th, 2022. And if you like us, also never forget, if you like us, you can go to patreon.com/thebriefingroom. Let's get to some news.
The news.
I just realized that this podcast episode is supposed to come out on September 11th. I did not think about that when I was making the docket.
A podcast I never forget.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's true. So first thing, we're going to discuss Pokemon. So back in August 3rd to be exact, so almost 1 month prior. Well, I guess it was 1 month prior plus some change. There was a Pokemon Presents that announced 3 separate story paths you can take. But that was about it. They also called these story paths treasure hunts, which I thought was interesting, especially now that we know what the 3 stories are, and none of them have to do with treasure, per se. Maybe one does. I don't know yet. First path is Starfall Street, where you have to take down the evil team of this generation called Team Star.
Menacing.
And, yeah, very menacing. Also, even though being called Team Star, they are the school delinquents, so they are not stars in the slightest. And they specifically showed off the fire crew of Team Star. So I'm assuming that maybe each version that they didn't go into detail, but I'm assuming each version Team Star will have a different crew, or maybe because it is an entire storyline, maybe there is multiple crews and you got to take down every crew, and each crew is a type. But who knows? Like I said, they didn't go much more into detail on it. They just revealed that Mela, I'm gonna say it's Mela, is the leader of the new crew. And in Discord, I'll show you what Mela looks like. I believe that's her. I don't know why it's doing that, but yeah, it's in there. It's in the Discord. I guess you have to download it to see it. It's weird. But yeah, so that is the first thing. Oh, nope. I don't know. I downloaded all the images, but for whatever reason, they don't just have... Why can't you just download when you say save image as? Why can't you just download the damn image as a JPEG anymore? Like, I was having that issue with our tier list too. Everything was trying to download as a web page. If I'm clicking save image as, I'm not clicking save web page as. I don't want to save it as a fucking web page. Anyway, rant over. I don't understand why I can't save something as a JPEG or a bitmap or literally any actual image file when I say save image as. But yeah, it's saved it as a disk image, and that's why you can't open it up. Which fucking annoys me. So all that extra work I did for this podcast to be extra prepared for nothing. Assholes. Anyway, so the second path is Path of Legends. And for Path of Legends, you seek the legendary Herba Mystica. You get the Herba Mystica through Titan Pokemon, which are giant forms of specific Pokemon. And for this, they introduced a new Pokemon. Let's see if this actually works. This is that shows up. So there we go. That's Cloth. It's just a normal Pokemon you can catch, but also there's a Titan form, which is the size of a cliff, which is absolutely terrifying. And that's about all they went into with Path of Legends as well. And then Victory Road, which is just the standard gym leader challenge. They did introduce 2 new people. Let me pull up the first one. If I can find it. There we go. Right there. That is Brassius. He is a grass gym leader, and he also has a couple firsts, I would say. He's the first unfriendly looking grass gym leader. If you look at all the other grass gym leaders, they're like the nicest looking people, and then you have this guy.
Pretty grumpy. Yeah, gotta say, he's definitely grumpy.
And he's also the first trainer to have a whip since Generation 1. He has like this thorned vine whip thing. Which is, along with his demeanor, absolutely terrifying. And then you have the Pokemon League chairwoman, Geeta. They didn't say a whole lot in the presentation, but there was a later Pokemon tweet where Pokemon's talking about how she is respected by all trainers, which it's weird because like they have the 3 different storylines. So when I hear respected by all trainers, and I think, oh, she's secretly the villain. But then you have the separate storyline where you are fighting the villains. So who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
And also, this is Generation 9. Generation 8 had the Pokemon League chairperson be well, kind of evil. He was evil, but he was being manipulated by his assistant, so was he truly evil is the question. But they already did that, so it's like, are they going to really do that again? That's the other thing, so I don't know. They also introduced 2 Pokemon that are exclusive to each version. So you have Ceruledge and Armarouge. Or Armarouge, I guess, possibly. I don't know. So Ceruledge is the Fire Blade Pokemon, exclusive to Pokemon Violet. Armarouge is just Fire Warrior Pokemon, exclusive to Pokemon Scarlet. So one has blades, one puts its arms together as like a Mega Man / Metroid cannon and fires things like that.
I mean, very much Mega Man. Very, very much Mega Man.
Oh, yeah. Very, very Mega Man-esque. I say Metroid because Metroid started that same way as Mega Man, but they've since made it a little less cutesy anime and more hardcore. So that's the Pokemon Presents. What do you have to think about all of this?
That's a lot of Pokemon news. That's a Pokemon dump of news. Not that the news is dump.
Yeah.
That is a dump of a whole lot of news. I don't know. I'm still not convinced on coming back to Pokemon just yet. Not to be a negative fanboy here, but just kind of waiting for Pokemon to hit the next gen turn, if that makes any sense. And
Yeah.
that's when I'm ready to dive back in. And I think at that time, because I've missed quite a bit, when I do come back, there's just going to be plenty. There's going to be a lot of things that I don't know, and it's not going to be so familiar to me anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if they're ever going to hit that next gen turn because Nintendo in general likes being a generation behind everyone else.
True.
Although I would argue that that the Switch is 2 generations behind.
Exactly what I mean. At least make it. Yeah, I want. Yeah, it's a 720p screen, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm warming up to Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet. I actually have really enjoyed all of the character and Pokemon designs. Just in general, I think they've been very, very good. I question Fido mostly because I think that's a dumb design, but a lot of people love that.
I don't know. I like both of these guys very much. Very much. I wouldn't actually know which one would you go with.
I think I would go with Ceruledge. I've already been leaning towards Violet anyway, and then Ceruledge is like, okay, yeah, that's only continues to make me want to lean towards Violet.
Yeah.
I am the most out of all these. The focus again was on the on these 3 story paths. I am most interested in the Path of Legends, because even though they didn't share a whole lot about all 3, I mean, the Gym Leader Challenge is what it is. It's what we've dealt with for, the first 8 generations ish. I guess there wasn't a Gym Leader Challenge in Generation 7. They were Totem Pokemon. but we're very familiar with that aspect of Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Starfall Street, every generation's had an evil team. So I don't know what they'd really do a whole lot for that. And both those also involve a lot of battles, which I've mentioned before. I don't hate Pokemon battles, but the fun I have with Pokemon is catching the Pokemon. And so those two don't really appeal to me. Path of Legends has me intrigued because is this like the seeking out the legendary Pokemon? I know the Titans are just giant forms of specific Pokemon, but is this
right
leading to getting legendary Pokemon? What is the end goal? I will say the Titans do remind me, I mentioned of Totem Pokemon. Titans do remind me of the Totem Pokemon that replaced gyms in Generation 7. But obviously they're not tied to Victory Road like they were in Generation 7. So what are they tied to? Is my question. But we'll have to see. That's all the thoughts I wrote down about it. I'm intrigued. I'm interested. So, next up is a story that might get you all heated up. So I'll let you go on your rant after I'm done. Covering all the information to be had with this. I also have notes for this, but I know how you feel about all of everything going on here. So, as the antitrust inquiries reach the end, both Xbox and Sony Interactive Entertainment have taken posturing, the posturing dial to 11. Spinal Tap reference. You're welcome. Phil Spencer said, in January, we provided a signed agreement to Sony to guarantee Call of Duty on PlayStation with feature and content parity for at least several more years beyond the current Sony contract. An offer that goes well beyond typical gaming industry agreements. Jim Ryan, however, had this to say: I hadn't intended to comment on what I understood to be private business discussions, but I feel I need to set the record straight because Phil Spencer brought this into the public forum. Microsoft has only offered Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation for 3 years after the current agreement between Activision and Sony ends. After almost 20 years of Call of Duty on PlayStation, their proposal was inadequate on many levels and failed to take account of the impact for our gamers. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality of Call of Duty experience, and Microsoft's proposal undermines this principle. Sony Interactive Entertainment's agreement, current deal that still exists, has 3 games on the contract, which includes Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and then a 3rd game in 2024. And Xbox had until 9/8 to submit a proposal. This was all involved in the UK's investigation. So they had to submit a proposal to the UK's CMA, addressing concerns to avoid further investigation. All right, now I'll let you go off.
Wow. This is the first time I'm hearing this, honestly. So there's so much to unpack there. So Xbox is gonna try to make it exclusive after that period of time. That's crazy. I don't know. I think if it's not a monopoly, which it doesn't seem to be, then PlayStation's got to figure out what they're going to do for their first-person shooters. It's a large base. Like even if it's only like a 10-15 percentile of PlayStation users, that is a lot of money to lose to go straight to Xbox. So
Yeah.
I have so many things going on in my head. PlayStation needs to come up with something, or buy Battlefield somehow,
Yeah.
or get something underneath them so they can at least keep people split. Or that sounds like a monopoly to me, but I mean, I ain't the guy that knows anything about monopolies.
Yeah. So, I will say, for what I understand, as far as what I've researched, because both Xbox and Sony Interactive Entertainment are both American subsidiaries of their respective companies. Yes, Sony is Japanese, but Sony Interactive Entertainment is not. Because, from what I understand, because both those companies are in fact American, all these other inquiries by other countries mean nothing. It all depends on the American courts, from what I understand. So that's to be noted too. I think it is interesting what they are saying, because they're both of them are talking years.
Yeah, they're talking about long term. Like, you guys, they're saying that right now, and that's true, because I heard other people talking about this. Like, Phil Spencer is in charge now, and Phil Spencer is making all these things and claims now, and how things are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as someone else takes over, which Jim Ryan's talking about, like, 5-10 years from now, what's it going to look like? Like, that's a lot of ammunition for them to hold for themselves.
Yeah. But what's really interesting is, like, you go to their current agreement, has 3 games on the contract. That's how most gaming contracts are, because games take a long time to make. Mm-hmm. So it's never time-based, it's always specific game-based. So I think it's interesting they're talking this contract in terms of years and not by games, because that's what the proposal is. A. B. The other thing is, most contracts have a minimum and maximum to the deal. So, like, they very well, like, even outside of the fact that they're talking years instead of games, they very well could be talking about the same deal, and Jim Ryan's talking about the bare minimum of the deal, and Phil Spencer's talking about the maximum of the deal. Whereas the deal could very well be right in the middle of the two. Also, like, 3 years is a bit small. Again, it very well could be the bare minimum, but it's not terribly off, because if you remember, the Xbox 360 generation, Call of Duty had had the marketing deal with Microsoft for the 360 generation.
Mm-hmm.
And then PlayStation 4 had the marketing agreement with Call of Duty for that generation, which has then continued into this generation. But that's still not, like, you're talking 7 to 10 years? So it's not terribly far off. Generations have been getting longer, but, like, the marketing deals aren't usually more than a decade anyway.
Yeah.
So, I just think both these statements are less to the public and more to their respective investors, without actually having to do an investor call.
Mm-hmm.
Just to try to get investors on board with what they're saying or whatever. But yeah, this whole thing, man, it's been blowing up, and I understand completely Sony's point on this, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like they're already dealing with, like, this PR of they're not as customer friendly as Xbox, and then they're taking this super aggressive stance, which, again, I get, because, like you mentioned, when Phil Spencer leaves, who's to say the next guy doesn't screw them over and pull the rug out from under them?
Uh-huh.
But I just feel like, with everything else going on with them being perceived as customer unfriendly, that this super aggressive tactic only makes them look worse, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, I agree.
Like, man, I don't know. Also, I've had my issues with some of Jim Ryan's statements in the past. This one I'm fine with. He didn't say anything too terribly out of the blue, but
Out of pocket.
yeah, please just he's not as, he's a lot more monotone, but please let Mark Cerny talk. Jim Ryan has the habit of putting foot in mouth.
For sure he does.
Just let Mark Cerny handle it. It's fine. But yeah, so I can't wait till, like I said, the American courts finally decide on something, so that way, this just gets out of the way. Sony, this deal still puts Xbox like number 3, I want to say, if I remember correctly from when the deal first was made. Puts them number 3 in terms of market share, still behind Sony. But like Sony's, even though they're above Microsoft, their deal with Bungie has already been finalized, and it was months after Microsoft. So let's just hurry this up.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about Glenn Schofield, because we were all super excited about Callisto Protocol, and I'm still a little interested, but I'd say I'm less interested. I don't know about you.
The crunch, is this the crunch thing?
Yeah. So on Twitter, in a now deleted tweet, Glenn Schofield had to say, "I only talk about a game during an event. We are working 6 to 7 days a week. Nobody's forcing us. Exhaustion, tired, COVID, but we're still working. Bugs, glitches, perf fixes, one last pass through audio, 12 to 15 hours a day. This is gaming. Hard work, lunch, dinner, working. You do it because you love it." Yikes. That's all I have for the actual like details. But what do you think about that tweet?
I don't know. Like, I know these people. I don't think not buying the game is going to be the right approach for this.
No.
These people they did get fired from EA. Like a lot of these people, like hundreds of these people, got fired from EA. And I think, I'm not trying to defend this guy, but I mean, I believe they just want to show, like, hey, we put time into this. Like, well, this is our baby, and I all the things that he said is not the right way to say that at all. And it is a bad work culture, but and it's not his place to say any of that either. But if there was a way to have the community of the people who made that game talk about, like, hey, we poured our soul into this, and we gave up a lot of time for this game, so we hope you really like this. That's more appropriate than having their head boss who makes the big bucks. You know, he didn't take too much of a pay cut making this studio. Like, he's still super rich. So it's not his place to say stuff like that.
Yeah. The last line there, "You do it because you love it." Again, like you said, he's the big boss, and him saying "you do it because you love it," that is my biggest issue with the entire tweet. Obviously, the whole tweet is just awful, but that is my biggest issue, because that is how gaming companies convince their employees to work those ridiculous hours. It's their boss going, "Well, you do it because you love it, right?" And weaponizing their passion for gaming, the whole reason that they spent astronomical, let me tell you, getting a degree in game design, astronomical money. And And for him to be like, well, I mean, you went through college and you spent all that money on college, like, you have to work these long hours because that's even shows even more that you love, it's like, fuck you.
Yeah, for real, dude. No, yeah.
Matt Piscatella actually had a tweet that I do want to read as well, which is I think really the issue with Crunch in general. He had to say, Crunch isn't something to be proud of. If not planned, it represents a failure somewhere in the pipeline. If planned, it represents cruelty. In any case, it ain't good. And yeah, so that's what it comes down to is, I mean, either way, it's bad, but did Glenn Schofield be like, all right, we're this close, when we get this close, we're just going to be putting shit tons of hours into it, or is it, oh shit, we came up on I didn't plan well enough, and it came up on the deadline, we really we need to get this game out before the Dead Space remake.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just put our nose to the grindstone and start working. Either way, it's bad, but one is significantly less worse than the other.
Yeah.
And no matter what, it's bad, but like, that's what I want to know is, was this poor planning on his part, or was it, oh no, this is what we're doing? I'm letting you know ahead of time. When we get close to the game launch, you guys aren't going home.
Yeah, man. The studio has to deal with like the backlash of that too. Is what's unfortunate. We just handle this shit.
Yeah. So
people with money are not going to learn to shut up.
No. So that's just. I just wish that this would be not an issue anymore. I mean, we've been dealing with this. I mean, gaming has had this for, almost the 4 decades it's existed. But you would think with the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years of people being like, this is not okay, you would think that these companies would be like, oh, this is not okay. But I guess not. I guess we're going to just have to keep hearing about the story for another 10 to 15 years because no one can learn their lesson.
Unfortunately, no. There needs to be a lot more safety nets for stuff like this, so it can stop from happening.
Yeah.
We need more rich people to care.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. Good luck with that. I mean, not to get too religious here, but I came from a very religious family, and what I find funny especially with Christians defending all these rich people all the time, is Jesus himself flat out said it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to make it to heaven. That is an actual statement in the Bible. And yet everyone's like, oh no, let's defend these rich people. No, rich people are evil.
Always.
So.
Okay, not always.
Oh man. If you liked or didn't like this podcast, make sure to do all of the things, like hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, and hitting the bell on youtube.com/the XofPlays, or giving it a high rating on whatever podcast service you use so you can find like-minded people. Be sure to tell people about the show. Word of mouth is the best way to help us grow. And I brought it up before, but on patreon.com/thebriefingroom, you can financially support the show and get cool rewards as well. That's all from us. Take care.